There are many layers of suffering, many degrees of suffering, and probably all of us, we want to have less suffering. We want to get free of it. But in my view, in my experience, of course, for a limited time you can, how do you say, take a break from suffering. But if you want to be really free from suffering, that means to first of all embrace that reality that you're suffering from. So it's not a movement away from suffering. You go to a meditation center and then for 30 minutes, for an hour or so, you can forget all of your suffering. Maybe even if that's the case, you will get back to your life, to the reality that you're suffering from. So in Zen, it's more the opposite approach. Get closer to what you're suffering from. Get so close that there's no separation anymore. And if there's no separation anymore, there's not me suffering from that anymore, but it's only, for example, in the cane, there's only pain. There's only pain. But when the separation disappears, there's nobody suffering from the pain. And I think that's true for many forms of suffering, that rather than kind of try to get out of there, we need to get closer to it. And of course, not all forms of suffering we need to accept as they are. Sometimes we also need to work with them, try to change ourselves or try to change things in our environment. But also for those changes to occur, we need to get closer to it. There's something in our family that's causing us to suffer, rather than try to kind of get away from it, get closer to it. What is it that causes the problem? At work, whatever. Get closer to the root of the suffering. Allow yourself to, be swallowed by suffering. I often use the metaphor of a meadow and sheep. And originally I used this metaphor to explain of what's happening during meditation. So meditation, we often think, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna have a peaceful mind. But what's happening, to the surprise of many beginners, is you hear meh, 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 meh from here and there. There's all these sheeps making a lot of noise. There's black ones, white ones. And the first thing you think is, my role is to play the shepherd and silence the sheep. And I need to separate the white ones and the black ones. But you're not successful. The more you try to do that, the more chaos the sheep cause. One thing you can do is, for a while, become the sky and just watch what's happening on the meadow. You don't touch the sheep, you don't try to control them, you just allow them to be. And usually they get much more peaceful. And I would say that you should not stop even there, because at that point where you are the sky, there's still this distance. You're watching from the distance. Allow yourself to be the meadow. That means you allow the sheep to trample on you, to feed on you, to take a dump on you. You allow all of that. Please, I'm here for you. So that's true for thoughts and emotions that come up during the Zen, but that's also true for all the other things in our life. For example, the things that we suffer from, the sheep that make them suffer. Rather than try to control them and rather to take a distance from them, become the meadow for them. And at one point, these sheep, they are fed enough. They are full, and then they take a nap. but for that to happen, you need to become the meadow for the sheep.